All right, we got somebody talking big stuff out in these streets. Jose Ramirez, the unified 140-pound champion, says that Devin Haney ain't going the distance with him, and neither is Teofimo Lopez. And guess what? Both those dudes are right in line to have to fight the guy. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to talk about Jose Ramirez, or we're going to talk about it because hopefully we'll leave some comments in the comment section. Jose Ramirez says that Devin Haney and nor Teofimo Lopez will be able to go the distance with him. So he is pretty much brushing off these young champions at 135 pounds. So and I think he's got a point. One of those two, I think that's right. And Jose Ramirez very well could be a stopping point for both those dudes in their careers. Now, Jose Ramirez so let's set it out first by giving you some background on who these guys are and why this conversation is important. There's a lot of people getting called out in boxing where there's no real path to these guys fighting. So, like, for example, there's been a lot of fun. I love the conversation going back and forth about Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis and what's going on with Floyd Mayweather Jr. But the fact of the matter is, or at least my opinion on that is, that fight was not going to happen. Floyd Mayweather Jr. said the fight wasn't going to happen a couple days later, but I said it before that because to me it's obvious. One guy is 135 pounder that's not going anywhere above that weight class because he's 5'5". And you have two other guys. One guy is 5'9", almost 5'10". The other guy is 5'8", 5'9", and they started their career at 135 and they're going to wind up at 147. So, and they're young too, right? 22, 21 years old. As their bodies grow and their muscularity increases up until like the age of 24, 25, shoot, dude, these dudes are still growing. They're going to wind up being at 100, 147 pounds. They're not going to be able to make 135 pounds. So that conversation, while that conversation was very fun, it really wasn't about two guys that are going to actually end up in the ring. This conversation is, though, because you're talking about Jose Ramirez, who's a 140 pounder and is a 27. He's a 27. He might be 28 now, but in the prime of his career, unified champion at 140 pounds. He has the I think he's the WBC champion and the WBO champion. He is on his way to a unification fighter for undisputed. Hopefully it'll take place. Cross my fingers, knock on wood, let that happen with Josh Taylor out of Scotland for all four of the belts, the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBO, all on the line for that particular fight. Now, if you look at who Jose Ramirez has already beaten, dude, he just got done beaten. I think that was Maurice Hooker was the last dude that he beat. He's beaten Amir Imam. The dude has fought. I wasn't really big on Jose Ramirez until the last couple fights, because I was like, no, because I didn't think he had a tremendous amount of power. But now that he looks like more and more like he's sitting down on his punches, this guy is an all-around fighter, man. This dude can box. Dude can box from the outside. He's got decent to solid punching power, and he's fighting tough fighters and winning tough fights. Amir Imam is not a pushover, man. And neither is Maurice Hooker, right? And I favor him to beat Josh Taylor when those guys fight, provided that Jose Ramirez doesn't have to go over to Scotland to fight Josh Taylor like Regis Prograis had to. But that's a legit champion, dude, at 140 pounds. And if he's able to beat Josh Taylor, they will, and they should, start having real conversations about where this guy rests is compared to the rest of the top fighters in the world. And if he becomes undisputed at 140 pounds, dude, you got to put some of these dudes up off that pound for pound list for this guy. Monster, in a way, being the number one dude, I say get out of there. But anyway, you get my point. Jose Ramirez is a serious fighter, man, serious contender, and he's 27 years old. Jose Ramirez probably has 2 to 3 more fights left at 140 pounds, and then he is going to go to 147. You're going to see at a point, at the very least, Teofimo Lopez, because they're in the same promotional company, winding up having a path where those two dudes can meet. Devin Haney also already said that he sees his career ending at 154 pounds. He might have a fight or 2 fights left at 135, but then he's going to 140. Now, when you're talking about guys that are moving to 140 in boxing, you're really, that at this age that are going from 135 to 140 at the age of 23, 24, you know by the time they're 25 and 26, these dudes are going to be up there at 147 pounds, which brings them right there with, right, Jose Ramirez, Virgil Ortiz, if his weight still stays down there, Jaron Ennis, that crop at 147 pounds, dude. Those guys at 147 pounds now this is going to be the group of 147 pounds after Terrence Crawford has already gone to 154, more than likely. Errol Spence has gone to 154, 160. Keith Thurman and Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. I think Danny Garcia is going to wind up at 154 pounds. And although those guys are going to wind up at 154 pounds as well if they don't wind their careers down. Like Manny Pacquiao will have wound his career down by the time these guys get there. So that's why I say, unlike the Gervonta Davis fight with Tank, which ain't going to happen, you have real fights here that can, should, and may happen. Now, what Ramirez says specifically about one guy versus the other, let's talk about that a little bit. With Teofimo Lopez, Jose Ramirez, Teofimo Lopez. Jose Ramirez is Teofimo Lopez's worst nightmare. That I don't know whether or not it would be a stoppage, but I think that it is a win down right. I think that is a solid win for Jose Ramirez. I don't see Teofimo Lopez being able to deal with Teofimo Lopez being able to deal with Jose Ramirez. The length, the height, the length, the speed, and the skills. Unless Jose Ramirez does not have a chin, or Teofimo Lopez power not only carries up to 135 with them, and it might increases with 135 with them at that, increases at 140 pounds. I see Jose Ramirez just outboxing Teofimo Lopez. Devin Haney, on the other hand, that might be a more difficult fight. And actually, I think that that's kind of like an awkward fight. Is an awkward fight, but because that will force Jose Ramirez to be more. Jose Ramirez will be more of the aggressor in that fight, and that would I'd have to look at it more carefully. But at this age, at the age these guys are, and at the status these guys are at their career, and what I've seen from them, I might give Jose Ramirez the advantage over Devin Haney. I can't see Devin Haney getting stopped by Jose Ramirez as much as I could see it happen with Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez, I think, is a little more defensively susceptible than Devin Haney. But at the end of the day, this is where those guys are. A guy like Jose Ramirez, that's where Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney are really going to get tested. I don't believe that they're really going to get tested, let me rephrase that. Vasily Lomachenko is definitely going to test Teofimo Lopez. I have Teofimo Lopez winning that fight because of the style, the power of Teofimo Lopez. Now I think he's a highly skilled fighter, but I just don't know how well Vasily Lomachenko's style is going to mesh with a guy like Teofimo Lopez's, because Vasily Lomachenko is not an outboxer. He's not somebody that's on the outside slipping punches, moving, keeping his feet moving, staying away from you. Now, man, he's in the pocket with you a lot of the times, and he makes people, he's excellent at it, though. I mean, excellent at it, from being in that mid-range where he's slipping and he's countering his footwork, moving from side to side, not necessarily side to side, but moving out to his right, slipping a shot, moving out to his right and countering people off those angles. Terrific, man. But the book is out on him in that regard. And Teofimo Lopez has read the book. And that has not worked. That particular style that has not worked since that particular phase of Lomachenko's career, phase of his fight hasn't really transitioned. Right now, what he does is, though, when the rounds go on, he starts stepping it up and he goes straight to the other fighter, slipping. He will catch some shots, slipping, but then digging to the body, and he wound up stopping guys like Jorge Linares to the body and dropping off Jose Pedraza to the body, with that same style. But if he comes forward on Teofimo like that, I think that he can get hit with something real nasty. And if he gets hit with something nasty, dude, when your body gets cut off, that electricity and your neck starts twitching, your legs start switching, hey, man, that's just going to be what it is. So, Teofimo Lopez will be tested by Lomachenko. I do not, however, think that, he's going to be able to pull that off against Ramirez. Now, if these dudes can, then they show me that they're the deal, and you'll be able to see it through their maturity, because they will get to be better fighters over the next couple years, and you should see more wrinkles in their game. But they're going to have to show them wrinkles and do them things in order to get past Jose Ramirez. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.